This is Radiant Voices Media.
Hey there, and welcome to the Transparently Jordan podcast, the podcast for the curious minds, the dreamers, and the high achievers. Here we dive into self-help, wellness, and mindset shifts that help you become your best self. Let's get into it. All right, team, quick shout out to today's sponsor because they've genuinely been a game changer for me personally, and that is YouFoods. So here's the thing, no matter what your goals are, fat loss, muscle building, training for something big, or honestly just trying to survive a busy week, YouFoods has meals that actually taste amazing. And I'm not talking about those sad frozen meals that taste like fake ingredients and disappoint you every single time. These meals taste fresh, they taste real, and they don't feel like you're on a meal plan at all. I literally look forward to them. But the real reason that I'm obsessed personally is time. My time is everything, and saving literally 3 to 5 hours a week from grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning the kitchen, that honestly is priceless to me. Those hours go back into my training, they go back into this podcast, into the other podcasts that I produce, and just my sanity as well. So, if you've been thinking about giving pre made meals a go, or you just want to make your life so much easier, use my link in the show notes and you'll get a free box of meals to try out. Seriously, try it. If you're anything like me, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. Hey there, and welcome to another episode. And in today's episode, we are joined once again by Aussie Edwards. Aussie was last on the podcast a couple years ago, and it is so awesome having him on again. It was great chatting with him just about everything that's been going on over the last 2 years. He was talking about a few things in the last episode that were just kind of in the works, and just to kind of see things basically have panned out and all of the work that him and his mates have put in is was quite insightful and quite a good chat today. So Aussie today chats with us about the creation of Content Studio One, which is now Adelaide's biggest and best content studio. He chats about Be the One. He chats about social media, about promoting on social media, about how they've built their business on social media, and how anybody can do anything if you have the right mindset, if you have the right attitude, and if you say yes to opportunity. Today is a very insightful episode. I think you listening will get a lot. And if you right now have an idea in your mind, if you are maybe afraid to start something, or you are kind of toying up with the idea of starting something and not knowing where to go, I think today's episode will give you a lot of insight. It will, if anything, give you the motivation to maybe just start. I think the first step is just starting, just launching something, and Aussie definitely chats about that and proves that that can be successful. Now, before we get into today's episode, if you are listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, if you can hit that 5-star review button, please go ahead and do so. It really helps out the podcast and it just shows your support to this show, to the guests that take their time to come on the podcast, and it means so much. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the podcast. It's been, like we were just saying, 2 years. It's crazy to think like time flying and everything that you've been up to and all of that. But I thought, Aussie, to get started, maybe if you don't mind, the listener right now, if they had an autobiography in front of them, the Aussie Edwards autobiography, what are some cliff notes that they would find in that autobiography?
Of course. Thanks for having me back again,
Yeah,
Jordan.
that's
Appreciate
right.
it. And congrats on all you've achieved.
Oh, thank you.
Your running's insane. So well done.
Try to.
I would say the cliff notes would be, as like a quick life summary, someone who's super positive, definitely like has no limitations to what they believe in, and just truly believes that like anything's possible. And then it's just like, well, if you put your mind to it, you can actually achieve anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because I think we've had a few people come on the podcast say something similar that, anything is possible. And I think those people are in positions like you, positions where, lots of success over the last few years. And I think you have to be in the right mindset for things like that to happen. Like you have to make things happen, but then you also have to be optimistic about certain things and certain ventures as well. I think 2 years ago you were, like we are saying, in an old office in Glenelg, and now you guys are doing something completely different. Maybe if you don't mind updating kind of the listener right now on what you guys have done over the last, has it been a year now, or when's the studio opened?
Yeah, the studio's been open for a year now.
Okay, yeah.
But if you backtrack a little bit, so there's four of us boys in business together. We've been best mates since like year three in primary school, so forever. And it had been our dream, I guess, to like start a business. So I guess like 6 years ago, we started posting videos on YouTube, and like nothing happened before for 4 years. We just like kept trying, kept trying. Then 2 years ago, we started posting on TikTok, and all of a sudden, like became our career. Fast forward to now, we get to call ourselves TikTokers as our job, which is crazy, like content creators. And we now have a massive brand new warehouse in Glenelg, actually just Somerton Park, massive 3-story building, our office is upstairs for TikTok stuff. We've got a second business downstairs, which is Studio One. Big brands come in and shoot there, and then now we're building out an agency. So we've kind of got these like three online businesses plus the brick and mortar business, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome to hear, because I guess that's the reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast, is really like delve into, I guess, your mindset and what it took to get to the position that you're in now. Cause I think like maybe a lot of the younger listeners right now, or even the older listeners who might have an idea in their mind, they're afraid to start, or they just don't know how to get started. I think you can help, provide some insight from that. But maybe if you don't mind going back, what was your mindset like when you guys were first kind of starting maybe TikTok, when you guys were toying with the idea of opening up the warehouse? What did that all look like, and where were your guys' headspaces like back then?
Of course, I remember like in the OG days, we just always knew that it was going to work out. Kind of like no matter what we tried, we just knew we'd succeed if we stuck at it. And it was funny, like your family and your parents, they back you, but like they don't really see the vision you see in your own mind. So we kind of just like stuck at it no matter what friends, family, or anyone said, and just knew that us four boys were going to make it, I guess. So started posting videos. We didn't really know where or like where it would take us or what it would look like. And I guess the best kind of advice that we followed was just taking that first step. Kind of like I saw something on like an Instagram reel the other day, and it was like, this is what a Apple computer first looks like, and it was like the size of this room, and then all of a sudden it had like a nice slim MacBook Air, like a little laptop these days, and it's like all you need to do is take the first step, get your product out there, and then refine it, make it perfect later.
Mm. I think that's a common theme that's come up is, if you're afraid to start something, like there's no point of just toying with the idea, like put it out there, and it doesn't maybe need to be perfect in the beginning. Like, did you guys struggle with that at all? Like the whole perfectionism ordeal in your head, or what was that like for you guys?
Definitely, like a couple of us boys are perfectionists, but then it helped that in the team that like a couple were just like, no, we need to get this out and just post the vids and see what happens. And if we didn't have that of just like posting the bad videos, we wouldn't have got to this success of where we are today. So it's like whether you're embarrassed, it's like who cares? Just post that video, just start that business, take that leap, take the risk. It always pays off.
And where did the warehouse come in? So what was the idea behind that, and how did that come to be?
Yeah, so pretty much we outgrew our previous office in Glenelg. Us four boys were just like, it was just pretty much just too small of a room. So we're looking for a new office space, and it was pretty wild. It's like this brand new triple story, insane warehouse. And we're like, oh, that office looks pretty cool up top. Just checked out like real estate commercial. And we're like, okay, we want that office space at the top. What can we do? We need the whole area. Let's put a second business downstairs and fund it. So literally just like, I think I was telling a mate before, he was in a similar space as a creator as well. And he's like, dude, I would have just driven past that and not even thought of like another way of how to get there. So it's like, if you see something that you want, even if you think it's unachievable, it's literally the only limitation is just in your mind. So it's like, all right, if we want this wicked office space, what can we do downstairs to make it happen?
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it, really. So originally, you guys were you were after the top space. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. When you were opening Studio One, what did that look like? What kind of things behind the scenes did you need to look into, really?
Pretty much we just saw like what's the best studio in Australia right now and copy that. There's about 6 or 7 studios in South Australia. Most are quite small. So we just did some like market research, found this one in the Gold Coast, up in Burleigh, and it's like insane top notch. Pretty much just copied exactly what they did for their setup. We just built the biggest and best cyclorama. Our studio is like insane. Um, Huge high ceilings and just like pretty much made it like the creator's dream. Even though the funny thing is, none of us boys really shoot in the studio. All of our TikToks are like filmed outside. And then we were like, okay, this is great. Let's turn it into a business. But we kind of were like, all right, this fit out's going to take a month. It's going to be heaps quick. And it took so much longer than a month
Yeah, yeah.
before we opened the doors. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you don't always anticipate the little things that come up, really. Was there anything specific that came up that you guys that kind of shocked you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we walk in, we're like, oh, this is perfect. It's a brand new warehouse. And we're like, oh, wait, there's no PowerPoints. So just like get the electricians back, heaps of different like just tradies to come in and make the place more unique of how we needed it. Simple things like changing the lights. And then we're like, oh, wow, our ceilings are like 12 meters high. We need to hire like a full on crane to change these to make sure they didn't flicker in the content and all of that stuff. And then it was like the flooring itself. It's just like, oh, this flooring is like not too bad, but it looks like a car park. Let's do a full custom floor, make it a really aesthetic content looking space. And we're so glad we did in the end. Just like taking the time to make, I mean, I guess make things perfect. But even though we said like just market it, get it happening if you have that idea, we kind of did spend a bit more time making that business more perfect before opening the doors.
Right. I guess like it sounds like what you're alluding to is you launched first and then, things may not have necessarily been perfect, but you made them perfect down the road, right? And
That's right.
that might be, I think, where a lot of people are a bit nervous when they're starting something new, whether it be e-commerce, whether it be a brick and mortar or whatever, is like we were saying before, like I think like a limitation is in your mind and you want it to be perfect. We all want to be perfect and whatnot, but very rarely are things going to be perfect right in the beginning. Like things go wrong, like you were saying. All right, let's talk about supplements that actually earn a spot in my routine. Not hype, just results. I love the Tropica matcha because I love clean energy without the crash. But also, I like how this matcha is smooth, it's not bitter, and I genuinely look forward to having it every day. There's also the pineapple creatine. Creatine isn't just for muscle performance, you guys. There is more research coming out about how it supports mental clarity, mood, etc., etc. If you train, think, move, breathe, you should be taking creatine, in my opinion. At nighttime, I also love their beauty custard. It legit tastes like dessert and supports recovery while I sleep. It is collagen, so it's great for the skin, the hair, joints, longevity. Both men and women, everybody should be taking collagen. You guys can use my code JORDSDAY10 at checkout to save yourself some money. That's JORDZDAY10 at checkout. JORDSDAY10. Thank you, everybody. What does success in business mean to you?
I would say success is firstly like hitting like checkpoints and like monetary goals of revenue and profit and things like that like you set for yourself. But I think the ultimate measure of success in business is once you've built something, making yourself redundant. So like the directors or the CEOs just being like, all right, we've got our amazing team, we've taught them, and you can take a step back where you can be fully time available for your own family or for your own life that you want to live and create, and that's funded by the business itself. So pretty much the measure of success would be how well oiled is your business as a machine operating by itself with its team without you there. So you can go away, travel the world, do what you want, and it's just this massive machine doing its thing.
Yeah, freedom. I
Freedom.
guess like that's what Ruby said in a previous episode
Yep.
is, to her, success means freedom in business, basically. Like having the freedom to stay at home maybe with your kids, or having the freedom to, like you were saying, travel or do the behind the scenes stuff. Um, what does, because you've alluded to a few points in that answer there, what does leadership mean to you then?
Everything. A business is only as successful as their leaders. Like, truly believe in leading by example. It's like, if you want work to get done, it's like get your sleeves up, get in there, get your hands dirty, and show them how it's done. But then also like teaching people. So it's like I feel like a great leader needs to have a real range of different type of like flexible skills. So like also knowing how to like care and comfort for someone that's going through a hard time, and also like being compassionate. It's like, well, if this work isn't getting done, let's just check up on their well-being. Are they actually okay? Are they in the best headspace to be doing these tasks that they're supposed to be? And then it's like if you truly understand each person, each individual, each cog is then going to work so much better in the business, and then also they're going to stay with you for life. They're not gonna walk away. You're not gonna have a high turnover of staff. It's going to be like much more long term.
Turnover is key, really. Like, I think if you look at any business's stats, if there's a high turnover of staff members, I think there's something behind the scenes said about that you kind of need to maybe take a look of. Or even if you're an employee or like somebody who's applying, like, I think it's probably safe to ask, like, yourself, well, why is this position open? Or like, why over the months have I seen this position open like again and again and again? So I love that answer there, really. I'm interested to know, because I think like I've had a few people on the podcast who, like in your position, who in business with friends, in business with others, and then in business by themselves. Where do you think the strengths are being in business with other people?
It's incredible. It's like you get access to, like, as you know, every single individual has strengths and weaknesses. And by having a team together or a set of directors or however the business is structured, you just get to really apply on and lean on everyone's strengths. So, like, for example, numbers wise, one of our guys, Pato, is just like a machine with numbers. So, like, we can just fully trust him and know that he's got all of that sorted. And then the other boys' skills is just like, oh, awesome, he's got that covered. I can do this. And then it's just like everyone really is doing what they were born to do, and like they're on earth doing what they're the best at to make the business grow quicker and quicker and quicker. It's like the saying of if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Oh, love that. Yeah. Yeah, I think like again, I think it's, I don't know, it's interesting because you have many people who prefer it by themselves. You have many people others, and I don't know that there's strengths or, I don't think there's one better than the other. I think it's probably dependent on your uh personality maybe, but also ability to lead, or, again, like I think if you can work with other people and in business and friends, then why not, really? Because like you were saying, I think like if I hate maths and I am
Yeah, yeah,
super
that's
bad
right.
with numbers, so like having somebody like that on the team would be phenomenal, really. Like, you know, we're all limited at some aspect, right? So having somebody that can help gain that thing that you're limited in is super important, I think. Um, all right, I want to talk to you about sunglasses made for runners by runners. That's why I wear Re Your Run sunglasses. Lightweight, zero bounce, and they stay locked in even when you are sweating through speed sessions, long runs, out in the sun, whatever it might be. They are stylish enough for daily wear, durable enough for race day, and just the perfect combo. Honestly, I love brands that get the sport, get the grind, and support the running community, not just the podium finishers. If you're serious about your run gear and want shades that perform as hard as you, go check out Re Your Run. Use my code Jordan10 to save some money and get yourself some stylish sunnies that actually perform and look good. Run smart, stay protected, look good doing it with Re Your Run sunnies. Maybe tell us a little bit what you've been up to in the last 2 years when it comes to you're traveling a lot, you're going here and there. What's kind of your best memories over the last couple of years that you've guys have been involved in?
It's been insane. Like we've probably partnered with maybe like 25 of the biggest brands globally,
Yeah,
which
because
has been
it
really
was
cool.
Red Bull was the biggest one, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep,
back then
that's
when
right.
we were talking then. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, on Red Bull, last year we did this like massive Europe trip with them. There's a challenge called Red Bull Can You Make It? And it was just wild. There was 300 teams, all from different countries. We were Team Australia. Three of us boys went over, which sucked. One of the boys' trips had to stay here in Adelaide. We were away for 2 months, but this Red Bull challenge happened over a week. And we got dropped in Milan. They took away our phones and wallets and just gave us 24 cans of Red Bull. And we pretty much had to trade these Red Bull cans for everything and get to Berlin. So from Italy to Germany, crossing all these different countries with no money, no phones, literally just talking to people and trading. So we'd just be like, "Hey Jordan, I see you're in the line for lunch. Can you please like buy us a sandwich and we'll give you a Red Bull?" And you're like, "What?" Like they also like might be speaking French, so like it's super interesting. And while you're there, is there any chance you could buy 3 plane tickets for us boys? We're trying to get to
Right.
Germany, and they're
Yeah.
like, "No, what?"
No.
Like
Yeah.
yeah. So you can imagine that.
Yeah.
We did it. It was so much fun. The first night we like got to convince the hotel owner to like have a room in his hotel. He gave us like the best room for 4 Red Bull cans. Like it's gonna be so easy. Next night we ended up in Venice from like a train and then a hitchhiking. We like fully slept homeless underneath the like Australian flag in this like on the ground in a park, you know. And we're like, okay, this is a serious challenge. Fast forward to the end of it, we came 10th out of 300 teams, and it was a wild experience. Across 5 countries, 7 days. I think we had like one shower. It was wild. Ate like no food.
Yeah.
Just kept traveling.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
adrenaline.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
really cool.
how long was that? Sorry?
It was just 7 days.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then we
Oh,
ended up trading, I think it was 211 Red Bull cans
yeah.
over that
Wow.
week. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
really fun. Then the like next big brand that we've done a lot with is Budgie Smugglers. I'm sure you would have seen us boys wearing not too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
We stayed on in Europe there with them and traveled to 16 countries within 2 months. So that was pretty wild. We like literally just got to like a world tour. Favorite place was Ireland. That was just like an incredible like different planet over there. It was just like amazing. Things like sneaking into Paris Fashion Week, wearing Budgie Smugglers and like doing big ad campaigns like that, which was just like crazy. We got to stay with nuns for like 3 nights in the middle of Paris in a church. It was just like this super random
Yeah.
experience and just really fun with your best mates.
Yeah.
And crazy to say that like we just get paid to travel the world
Yeah.
and make videos.
Yeah. Yeah. What through all of those experiences have you learned about yourself, do you think?
Funnily enough, none of us boys fight. I don't know how. Don't know how we don't like, you know, being on top of each other so much. And yeah, I think just being best mates for so long, we just get along really well and know how to work as a team, which is really cool from a young age. I would say, just like how big but small the world is. It's like you can really learn so much about people and how caring people are and how kind they are, particularly on that Red Bull like trading challenge. Like there was a girl who was like 21 from New York traveling with her family, and she just like was like, "Yeah, boys, I'll help you out." She was like 21, paid for it was something like 300 euros. So it was like close to like $500 Aussie just for 3 random guys to travel on this like train, just for like a Red Bull can. So like people like that helping you out is just incredible. So I think seeing the kindness and I guess the energy you put out in the world really gets reflected back to you as well.
Yeah, I guess seeing the world and seeing the kindness of others is quite important, and it's phenomenal really. Like if you can have experiences like that, and you probably don't get experiences like that unless you travel or unless you put yourself out there in situations like that. How do you think you stay so optimistic and put yourselves out there?
I think just over the years, having that positive mindset, being like, no, we're going to do this, boys, like just never giving up really, really cements that in. So it's like, I think David Goggins talks about it. He like reaches into the cookie jar. I'm sure you would have heard him speaking about that. But it's like this fictitious jar that he has in his mind, and it's all these hard things that he's done. And he'll reach in and like look at the story or like the thing he overcame back then. So we kind of like, in a positive way, have like this snowball of good momentum to look back at moments of like, okay, that was tough. We took the risk and we overcame it. It's like, cool, this next challenge, even though it's much bigger, is going to be easy. So then like, something that would have just been massive, like a massive challenge from when you were at the start, you would have grown so much as people to then be like, no, that's just so easy. Let's do it. And then, you just sail through it. It's not even a challenge.
Reflection is key, I guess. Like you have to reflect on those moments for you to get over it, really. Um, when it comes to goals, how do you create goals and what does that look like for you? Do you create super far in ahead? Do you create, only month at a time, week at a time? What does that look like for you?
Journaling's a big part of that, and like writing things down each day. Then also like meditating on them and like really thinking about them and knowing that you can do it. But then also like letting go of those goals and just trusting the universe and knowing that it's going to happen. So like for example, I think I wrote down like flying on private jet or something with the boys, and then all of a sudden like within it was something crazy like 3 weeks of saying that, Adrian Patelli, who's Australia's youngest billionaire, hit us up and was like, "Boys, jump on my private jet with me." So it's just like writing down a crazy goal that someone would be like, "That's a once in a lifetime opportunity." If you just know that it's going to happen, but don't even know how it's going to happen, and just trust that it's going to happen thanks to the universe, opportunities will just open up all the time. From there, we ended up being in Europe with Adrian, and he said, "Come and jump on my Lamborghini super yacht," which was like in the south of France in Monaco, and he like had just bought it. There's only like 23 of them in the world or something. His is like the same color as Conor McGregor's, and which is pretty wild. We just like jumped on board. Everyone thought we were Conor McGregor in the south of France, and it was just like this crazy experience, just because we like put out there that like I guess just like had that thought, and then all of a sudden it just happens effortlessly through the easiest way.
Put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big massive goals, I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
to answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah. What when it comes to, I guess, like, moving forwards and not exactly like regrets or anything like that, but like is there anything that, cuz it sounds like you guys are always saying yes to opportunities, but is there anything that, you really like have to think about and say no to, or is it like, no, I'm just going to say yes to, everything, really? How do you guys pick and choose what you want to do and what you don't want to do?
Yeah, I think we're because saying no is just as important as like saying yes. It's like if you say yes to everything, there's going to be no time for yourself, of like self improvement or anything, you can't, you just got to like try please others and make them happy if you just say yes to everything. So for us boys, it's been really seamless. We've just like, it's been 2 years and none of us boys drink. None of us go out and party anymore. I certainly did that and, had a great time back in the day. But nowadays it's just like we're super business focused, super driven. And by saying no to all of those things, it makes the business decisions so easy. And then the snowball effect of just success and that momentum just keeps spiraling because we don't do those things that, I guess you could call them distractions. But if we're super hyper fixated on success and being driven, then it just has to happen. And that's the quickest way.
I guess it goes back to that freedom too. Like you've created freedom for your guys' self so you guys can pick and choose, like you're saying, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. But also it sounds like, you can also structure your days how you want to structure it. How do you guys fit in fun? And, it sounds like this is fun for you, of
Yes. Yeah.
course, but how do you guys fit in fun and how do you guys plan your days when it comes to work versus like leisure, if you know what I mean?
Youngie said it best the other day. We were like opening up the studio for a booking, and he was like, "Bro, I feel like anything we do, whether we were, you know, scooping up trash together or flying around on, billionaires' jets, we're gonna have fun." And I was like, "You are so right." It's like no matter what we do with the boys, like I'm so grateful. Everything is fun. Like if we're out in the car park just playing backyard cricket, something simple is so incredibly fun just because it's with the boys. Or, if it's like, wow, fast forward 5, 10 years, we've achieved all of our business dreams and goals and how much fun was that? It's like just the classic LSKD quote of just enjoying the journey on the back of the shirt. It's like we've spoken to a lot of successful people and they've all said like how lucky you are having the boys. A lot of them have grinded for years and years and years of just like by themselves in an office, not talking to anyone, and then all of a sudden after 5, 10 years become successful. And they were like, wow, the fact that you have each other is really really cool. So I think anything we do is just so fun.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's great way to look at it, really, because like you were saying, like you can go through different routes, right? By yourself or with others. Um, when it comes to I'm interested, like you were talking about the documentary last time that you
Yes.
guys were helping with. Give us a little rundown of what that was, how that went, and kind of your experience with that really.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, Michelle McCraner,
Yeah.
I think you had to listen, did you say the other day
Yeah,
to
yeah, on the Heartbeats and Strides podcast. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. She's incredible. Pretty much set this insane challenge to run from Adelaide to Melbourne, to raise awareness for Stillbirth Foundation. And we jumped on board and filmed the documentary with her, and it was just like the most incredible journey. And just going through these country towns, every day Michelle was running like 50, 60 Ks, like marathons, ultra marathons every day, back to back to back, just like incredible. And she's, a 55-year-old mum, like really showing that anything is possible. Being a part of that and seeing her just go at it every single day running and make it look so effortless too. Because as you know, you've completed so many marathons, and yeah, as you know how hard they are, right? Like, yeah, she just took it in her stride every single day, and it was just incredible. And I think seeing the people of those small country towns where she ran through every day, seeing them get around her and having like the amount of lives that she touched and the awareness she raised for stillbirth was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because when I was editing the episode, I heard your name come up, and I'm like, oh, I know. I think maybe that's the same
So
Aussie. But like, it sounds like you learned taping the ankle and
yeah,
and all of this kind of cool little things as well. But I think like one thing that came up in the episode is she was like she wanted to have a team around her that were optimistic and that didn't tell her that, oh, she looks tired or like to slow down or whatnot. So you guys were probably the right crew to have around that. What did it look like when you finished that documentary, when you were editing and all of that? How many hours did that take? What was that process like for you guys?
I didn't do the editing side. A guy called Justin JB did, and he's an incredible, incredible videographer and editor. So he put it all together, but it was like months and months and months of editing, and to make this incredible like 40-minute documentary and watch it at the cinemas was amazing. Like seeing all the amount of hours and the editing. Like there's a normal edit for a TikTok, for example, and then there's just like the amount of work that goes into a documentary. And then it's like, wow, you compare that to a movie, which is like 2.5 hours, and it's like, man, movies. It's like this newfound respect for like movies and documentaries and films. It's
What
and
goes into them?
that's right. Like
Yeah.
it really does take a full team to create something like that. Even though you're watching, like, oh, that was great. It's like, wow, there was really so much that's gone into everything.
Yeah, yeah. I think like a lot of people, yeah, might see the end product, but don't really see the months or even years that go into it, basically. All right, let's talk about supplements that actually earn a spot in my routine. Not hype, just results. I love the Tropica matcha because I love clean energy without the crash. But also, I like how this matcha is smooth, it's not bitter, and I genuinely look forward to having it every day. There's also the pineapple creatine. Creatine isn't just for muscle performance, you guys. There is more research coming out about how it supports mental clarity, mood, etc., etc. If you train, think, move, breathe, you should be taking creatine, in my opinion. At nighttime, I also love their beauty custard. It legit tastes like dessert and supports recovery while I sleep. It is collagen, so it's great for the skin, the hair, joints, longevity. Both men and women, everybody should be taking collagen. You guys can use my code JORDSDAY10 at checkout to save yourself some money. That's JORDZDAY10 at checkout. JORDSDAY10. Thank you, everybody. What would you say over the years of you guys working, of you guys, doing things? What would you say the biggest project you've done is when it comes to like effort and when it comes to maybe stress even? What was a time that you guys had to really kind of go through it?
I would say maybe like, I guess with the warehouse, because it's such a like big cost, I guess. When we got the contract and we're like, oh wow, this is actually happening. we're kind of just like, people say like, oh, we'll just figure it out along the way. Like we literally were the whole time. Like I remember the boys like putting up their own personal money, and like we're like, okay, this has to work. Like we really are invested in this, and sure enough, it certainly did. But at the time as well, it's like it sounds, I guess, scary if you're like, wow, you really did put everything into this. What if it failed? It's like we didn't care. Like failure wasn't an option. We put everything into it, and it was like it at the time. It also just felt right. Like it didn't actually feel scary, even though if you look back in hindsight, it's like that's an incredibly crazy risk. Like no one would not normally do that. But it's like, well, you start your own business, that can be risky, and then it's like you do the next thing, and it's just like that just seems easy. So I think that particularly was a great turning point to be like, anything's possible. Like none of us boys had moved out of home at that stage. We were like, didn't even know how it worked signing a commercial lease. We're like, how do we even apply for this, And then, it all just worked. So it's funny you figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of sacrifices have you guys had to make to get to that point and to get to the point now? Because, yeah, like, again, you've taken up amazing opportunities and you've done some amazing things, but I think like people listening know that you guys have probably had to sacrifice, things, right? You've worked hard and you've gotten to where you are for a reason. So what kind of things do you think you've had to maybe say no to or sacrifice basically to get to this position?
A lot of it sounds bad. Uh a lot of missed family events and for our own choosing. Um which is crazy because all of us four boys really value family highly, but we also super, super value our business. And it's like to get it to where it is today, we couldn't have done that if we didn't miss out on some of these family events, like birthdays, like anniversaries. Like it sounds bad, but it's like we really set the expectations up with our own families, and they knew that, which is amazing.
That's
So
key,
like
isn't it?
it is,
Like if you
yeah,
let people know what you're doing, it might not burn as much down the
yes,
road.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So it's like it's tough having those combos, being like, oh, we need to do this, and we're obviously our priority is business, not family at this stage. But then it's like, okay, once we have hit those milestones and those goals, we'll switch our priorities back when we have that freedom in business. But I think you have to be super obsessed and unbalanced in certain periods of your life if you want to get to that top 1%. And that's where we want to be. So we've happily done that. And like, another thing is just like the day to day. Rock up at like 7, 8 a.m., leave at 11, like every single day. We were joking around the other day of like people start a business leaving a 9 to 5 and they work 24/7. It's true, but it's great because you have 100% equity and you can influence the amount of money that you can make and the success of the business. You can just fast track it so much by having you all working so much more. And then now we've gotten to the point where it's like, let's just be smart with it. So how much stress compared to money and success is this aspect of the business bringing? So now we're just focusing on I guess the easiest parts to bring the most amount of capital in, which is so much more fun because then you get to like really plan things out with the boys. We just have this massive whiteboard and it's just like the Bible. It's just like the business Bible. And we just figure it all out, think about different ways of how things can work, and then we just make it happen.
And that's probably where having three others kind of help out, really. You can sit down, you can plan, you can bounce ideas around. Like four brains are better than one a lot of the times, really. Like you could be the smartest person ever, but like there's always somebody that like not necessarily smarter, but like can come up with an idea that you can't really come up with, really. But you hit an interesting thing just a second ago. How is your day structured? So, I assume again, you've built a little bit more freedom now than you did back then. Maybe if you go back to like a year or two ago, can you tell us like how your day was structured versus it is now?
Pretty similar.
Okay.
Um, in terms of like up early,
Yeah.
gym,
Yeah.
straight into it, roll into the office, get things done, all of our tasks, and make it happen. Go home, eat, quickly say hi to the fam, not for long, come back to the office, work after dinner, work till late, go home, same thing every day. No weekends, like you don't even know what date it is. It's funny. It's just like and that's the four of us boys is normal, which we love. But it's been like that for like 5, 6 years not knowing almost what day it is because you're caught up in building an amazing machine and not having the weekends and seeing on Instagram stories people going out, people having fun, and to us that is our fun. We're enjoying that journey. I think back then a couple of us boys were in relationships, so we kind of prioritized that more, and then it got to a point where we sacrificed the relationship to prioritize the business. So few of us boys ended those relationships, and it sounds like crazy and obsessive, but our business took priority, and now it's all filled up by business,
Yeah, yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, but I think like the reason why I wanted to ask that is because like a couple years ago when you were on, your answer was a bit similar, similar to what it is now. And I think like the person listening right now might be thinking that like might be thinking that like, oh, maybe success down the road is that you don't have to work, right? And like, yeah, maybe there is an aspect of that down the track, but like I think you always, if you are starting something, if you have something under your belt, you do have to put in the work, regardless of whether it's starting or you're like 10 years down the road, right? So that's why I wanted to ask that. And because, again, your answer was quite similar, and it's not like you're not doing, or you guys aren't doing anything now. Like, yeah, you've created freedom, but like there's still work to do at the end of the day. And I think that's where maybe people sometimes go wrong. W- for the person listening right now, maybe they're upcoming, maybe they have an idea in their head that they're afraid to start, or they just don't know where to start. I know that's quite vague, but like what is a piece of advice that you would give to that person basically?
Post on social media. Social media is the greatest tool ever. Like, it's insane the amount of careers that have come from social media. We didn't know it was a thing growing up, and now it's our job, and it is amazing. It's like I saw this guy speak about it on just an Instagram reel, and he was like, picture a free lottery ticket every single day, and that lottery ticket is just posting one reel, right? And you never know who's watching, where it's going to go, how many millions of views it's going to get, or zero. It doesn't matter. It's free. You post, and it can take you somewhere. And that would be the best advice. Start your business, start posting, build that online presence, build up a personal brand, and then you can sell anything to that audience and partner with massive brands and make plenty of cash. And it's so fun.
And it's free.
It's
Like it's
free.
it's out there, right? Like I think you probably don't need to spend like thousands of dollars on ads or whatever in the beginning. Like you can post it on your phone, and you don't really need to do much behind the scenes in that sense. Yeah.
Film all on your phone, edit it
Mhm.
all on your phone.
Yeah.
So easy.
I know. You have access to so much on our little mini computers these
That's
days
right.
in our pockets.
And even as well, it's
Yeah.
like just like sharing your thoughts out with the world. If someone, I'm sure there's like so many people who have such incredible minds and so much value to provide to the world, but they might be a little bit scared of taking that risk. What are my friends going to think when I post this? What's going through their own mind? If they just post that, you never know where it can take you. Like if you post every single day and look back from a year from then, your career can be on social media. All you need to do is just post it, and it is free. And then all you really need to do in those first 1 to 2 years is just try and take yourself away from caring about what other people think. But if you can get past that, then it's like, wow, 2 years' time, they see that you're successful. They know that it's so possible. All you need to do is just go through that time.
Hmm. Was there a point where you were a bit self-conscious and I guess cared what other people think? Or how did you get past that point, I guess?
There definitely was. Probably like when we started posting on YouTube for those like 4 initial years. The first 2 years, some of your friends from school would say stuff. Um, and us boys are like, we don't care. We see the bigger picture. Like, we know our videos were terrible back then. And you know, it's like they only get better over time. Yeah. And it's like, well, if we never posted those bad videos, we wouldn't be where we are today. So there would, people say things, people comment. You just have to not care. And then once you're past that, it's like, oh, they're then rooting for you, which is crazy. It's like once it becomes a normal thing, and you've made it or whatever, like you're seen as successful, they're then going to back you. It's like, well,
Mhm. Yeah.
it doesn't matter like where you were because we're just doing it for us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a weird concept, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is
Like you're a bit cringe until you're not, I
until you're
guess.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Ozzy, when it comes to like going forwards, what are you excited about in the business scene? It doesn't necessarily need to be your business. It can be your business, but what are you excited about when it comes to creating or when it comes to, things that are happening right now?
Yeah, I think there's a really cool shift with the massive rise in AI and
Okay.
in social media. Like the videos are insane, the editing, the photos. Like
Yeah.
people are doing full ad campaigns like for brands, which would normally cost like $200,000-300,000 for like product imagery. You can type it in now and like be an expert prompter, which is actually a job title, like on AI, and you can do that for like nowhere near 300K. You could do it for like real cheap. And so I think it's like the change in AI there, but not necessarily being like worried about it because there's then going to be like a trend of like, okay, here's like human creators, real creators. If they're already established, they're going to keep rising and people are going to trust them because they're, humans. Um, so I think like seeing that and encouraging more people to be creators. There's going to be a lot more AI content. Be yourself, be a human. You have so much value to bring to the world. Just get out there and start posting vids and try.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like you can use it strategically as well, right? To, I guess, maybe help with what you're creating or help with what you're doing. Who was it? Mel Robbins maybe had an episode about AI recently, but like just even the little things that like a lot of people aren't doing day to day just with Chat GPT, like all of the functionality that it has in it, like it can really make your life a lot more productive, I think, when it comes to like even just daily tasks, basically. Is there anything specifically that you do with your daily life with AI?
Yeah. So Trips, he's the AI expert in our team.
Okay.
He's like a machine. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know how he
awesome.
does it. He's
Yeah.
just kept up to date with it all.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
changes so fast.
Yeah.
Um, but he's like created these models where he like trains up AI to then pretty much integrate into any of our like back end systems. So like emails, it knows how to like write my style of email
Yeah.
as Aussie. It knows how to write Pado's style of email and like
Yeah.
all these things. Um, it's just like really cool. He's been able to like analyze all of our videos over the years and what are the best performing ones, see those themes, break down all the hooks, break down what the content's about and the call to actions, and then replicate that and then write like new storyboards for fresh content. So it's like crazy. It's like you would normally have to like build out a team and spend like $500,000 on wages per year, maybe even $1 million on like a team of 5 to 10 to like create all of that. You can get it for free now just by knowing a few things on AI and training up a particular model to fit into your business. It is a wild, wild time. And how cool is that?
And
Like,
we have it like on most phones these days as well. Like you could probably use certain functionalities within your phone to make things a bit more easier when it comes to emails or whatever it might be. Like I personally believe time is key. Like my time means everything to me. And like if I can, get AI to come up with my calendar or like, plan my daily schedule or plan whatever to make my time a lot more productive, then why not do it? Like I'd even subscribe to it if it costs like, I don't know, an arm and a leg really. I'm like, well, it saves time and for a lot of people that means a lot really. How do you stay creative? Do you go through slumps ever? Do you, I guess, need to kind of shift your mind a little bit? How do you guys stay creative and I guess get things out there?
take inspiration from different types of creators.
Mm, yeah,
And then I guess like piggybacking off those ideas and making it in our own way.
yeah,
That's like, that's probably the key because it's like, you'd say like copying an artist or like plagiarism back in the day at school or uni or
yeah,
whatever. But it's like, just by you doing it in your own way makes it completely different.
makes it original in a sense. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's almost like a cheat sheet. It's like, wow, this video on YouTube has 50 million views. Why don't we adapt that and try that? Like, for example, Zach Alsop, a big YouTuber, did something where he snuck into like a New York fashion show. So we did a similar thing when we were in Paris with budgie smugglers and snuck in and became a fake model wearing budgies. And that was one of our best performing vids. And the brand loved it. Budgie Smugglers, that's now turned into like a massive deal. We've been working with them for like 2 3 years. So just by taking a super successful concept and changing it in our own way.
Do you use, because that's like a great point, and that's how I, for this podcast, for example, I take inspiration from my favorite podcasts and just like how to edit and the different trends and whatnot. And I think when I think to how I use social media now, like doom scrolling is less of a thing for me because now social media is taking inspiration from, other podcast videos or whatever. So how do you use social media, and you guys use social media because it's a career for you guys. But I think there's so much, I don't want to say garbage out there, or like it can be a bit of a hindrance for some people. Do you guys use it? Is it all business for you, or how do you guys use social media and I guess get rid of the noise in the social media space?
I mean, it's tough. Like, it's definitely a rabbit hole, isn't it? TikTok and Insta, like
Yeah.
you can get caught on reels for hours,
Yeah.
and you look up and you're like, how has it been 4 hours?
Yeah.
Like, it's
We
a
all do it,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
deep dark rabbit hole. But I think because the algorithm's so good at changing and knowing what you want, if you just happen to jump onto some podcast reels and all of a sudden that's your feed from then on out, like the next 10 are podcasts, and it's like you can really switch your algorithm. So if you're diligent and can like, I guess, like in the pantry, not have the junk food and focus on the healthy food, meaning looking at the right business reels and things like that, using it to like level yourself up, you certainly can. And I guess once you get to a point, well, all right, let's just not buy any junk food and have it in the house in the first place. It's going to be easier to stay focused. So I guess your algorithm just keeps adapting, and it's focused on the business reels or your top creators that you base yourself off for the podcast or for TikTok or for anything.
Yeah. What's your guys' focus when it comes to a platform? Like, do you guys focus on TikTok? Do you focus on Instagram? How do you pick and choose what to push or what to put out there?
For us, TikTok's been the quickest grower for virality. And then Instagram's been the best for like converting to business, which is interesting as well. So we actually just we say we make one video, post the exact same vid, TikTok and Insta, and let it go.
Yeah. You're not the first person that said that, really, especially when it comes to the, viral versus business conversion.
Yep.
You're not the first person that said that, Instagram for them as well has been the other side of things. And when it comes to YouTube, do you guys still do the YouTube route, or how's that? No?
So we don't, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We stopped YouTube back when we started posting TikTok. But that is that's a whole new game, and we definitely want to get back into that long term, into long form content on YouTube. But we'll probably look to that next year. The monetization on there is incredible, and like you can make some serious cash from YouTube.
Other
And
than that, like when it comes to long form versus short form, where do you think the strengths and weaknesses with each of them are?
of course, so on short form content, Instagram and TikTok, you can build an audience like that so quick. Short attention spans these days, people follow creators and content straight away. Long form is much harder. They have to trust you. A podcast is a great example. Someone's listened to you for 2 hours every single week. And they're like, wow, I trust Jordan. I love him. He's a legend. I'm gonna subscribe to his life, and if he starts a brand, things like that, buy your products. So that long form trust is harder to build, but as soon as you do, that audience is gonna love you. So I guess you can like really monetize the audience on YouTube because I guess they're like considered super fans only because it's harder to get each subscriber.
Right. Yeah. That's a very good way to look at it. Yeah. Especially like, I guess a YouTube video, podcast, or whatever, like somebody is spending 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes of their day with you, whether it be cleaning, cooking, on their way to work. Like that's a very good point is they have to respect what you're saying, or like be truly interested in, that content for them to spend that much of their time. Like I was just saying, time is money to me. So like for me to listen to a podcast, I probably have like two podcasts that I regularly listen to, and it's because I respect what they put out basically. And I'm not going to listen to an hour and a half episode unless like, I respect that basically. Um, when it comes to like videos that you guys create behind the scenes, what does it look like when it comes to time? Like, can you give the listener a bit of an estimate on like are you guys batch recording? Are you guys, recording one a day? What does that kind of look like for you, and how have you guys made it work for you?
Pretty much, we will try different types of video series and see which ones perform the best. If they perform really well, we double down on that. One, for example, recently was like this giant item series for fast food restaurants. So like we'd rock up. One of the boys, Youngie, would make like a huge giant cardboard box of like chips, and then we would go into Macca's and we'd be like, "Hey, what's the store record?" Say it's like 10 chips have been ordered before. They would fill up this until it's like overflowing. So there'd be like 82 large fries or whatever, and it'd be like an extortion amount. So you'd pay like $500 for like all of these chips, and then that would like on average get like between 3 and 4, 5 million views, like just for that video itself on TikTok and Instagram. Um, so once we figured that out, that was like a game changer in terms of like the new series and then keeping it fresh. The funny thing is, all us boys are really into fitness, so it was like eating these things we didn't really like, but the views were there, so we did it, and it was great fun, even
Yeah.
though like you're eating fast food, but you just train more,
Well,
fast a
that's
bit
the
more,
thing. Yeah, I guess so.
yeah,
Yeah.
eat more steak when you get home,
Yep. Yep.
um, but
Balance is key, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, that series, for example, we say we posted like 15 to 20 different like items and giant items and versions of that. It was super easy to integrate for brands, and they were seeing that it was getting like super high views. So we ended up doing, I think, like Pato like is all over the numbers, but I think he said it was like 50 to 60 million views just on those 20 videos, which is like crazy. And then now I guess it's like trying to come up with new ideas of what's the next new series.
So a lot of testing, it sounds
Yeah,
like testing in, and then like honing in onto a certain area, I
that's
guess,
right.
basically.
And we wouldn't really, to answer your question, do like the batch kind of filming, only because trends pivot so quickly on social media. So you have to kind of be ready to go to change direction. So it's like we can't really film 5 videos of a series when the first video didn't do well. You're like, okay, cool. So you just do one, test it, do the next one, test it. That works. Double down now. That one didn't work. Next one.
So it
Yeah,
sounds like you guys use your time strategically in that sense, because yeah, I guess it's wasted time if you're spending, so long creating 5 videos, but it didn't perform well, then yeah, that's a very good point, I guess, for people, for the person listening, basically. Um, Ozzy, when it comes to, like, I guess, what's next with your guys' businesses and with what's existing right now, where do you guys want things to go with what's existing right now? Because again, like, I think for the person listening right now, they can probably tell, like, you've created success for yourselves, and like maybe that's it for them, right? But like, where do you guys want to take it in a sense?
so if we kind of split it up to the existing businesses already, in terms of be the one, so social media, we've now got our manager who's based out of LA. So he's really cool. He'll just be like, boys, we've got this brand deal. We've got to fly here, do that. Um, we've got some really cool news of early next year being part of a small part of a TV show, which is pretty cool. So things like that, like more in the media world of TV, TV shows, movies, things like that, eventually. And then also, I guess, doing bigger brand deals. So like, for example, in Australia, to do a brand deal, if you're a top creator, you could probably make about 10 to 15 grand per one video posted on social media as a brand deal. But in America, because they're so far, ahead, as you know, and the budget's massive, you can end up doing like, say, a top creator. I'm talking like a creator with at least 10 million followers on TikTok would be able to do 30K USD for one video, which is like wild, right? That'd be like 50K Aussie. Like that's pretty cool for one post.
It's
So
it's a it's a massive game there, isn't it?
it
Yeah, and
is.
it always has been, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I think whether you get visas and do some American stuff for some work, a couple of months, come back, things like that. In terms of Studio One, we're the biggest and best studio in Adelaide, which is awesome. Uh, the newest being like 6 months old, and already had some like really worldwide brands come in and shoot. Palo Sebastian, like brand new Defender TV commercial was filmed there last week. Had a Lamborghini in last night. Like all of these incredible big names, which is really cool. So I think eventually, so right now it's all of us boys managing that and doing the work ourselves, employing someone to run that for us. That runs itself. And then in the future as well, we've now got our one agency, which is creating content for other brands, which is really cool. So we have people on like a retainer system where they pay us every single month, and we create heaps of different content for them, whether it's AI services, whether it's actual creative video, photo, um, ad campaigns, commercials, things like that, all filming at the studio or at their business, and then website building, lots of different things, ad management. So the cool thing is, at the moment, we're all doing these businesses ourselves, but then implementing people to run them, and then all of us boys spend our time being the face of Be the One.
I'm going to put it out there. I think if you guys are wanting to get into long form, next year you guys should have a podcast. All four of you. That would be pretty cool, I think.
You're right, Jordan. We might have to.
Yeah, talking like you can have four mics and everything really. Like why not really?
True.
People would eat it up, I think.
We'll have to get you on our podcast so we can listen to all your stories.
Get a fifth mic, yeah.
That's right.
Now Aussie, maybe if you don't mind leaving the listener right now with maybe something like a takeaway. So what is something that you want them to remember out of maybe everything that you mentioned today, maybe just anything else? What's like a takeaway, whether it be business, whether it be life, that you really want the listener to remember?
Think big, think bigger, think bigger, think bigger, think bigger, think bigger, think bigger. Take the risk and go and do it.
Love it. Where can people follow you guys? Where can people find you? And where can the listener, I guess, watch everything?
On TikTok, Be the One BT1.
Yeah.
On Instagram, exact same as well.
Yeah.
And feel free to hit us up with a message or anything. We'd love to chat to you and learn off incredible people.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you again for spending the time, for coming back on. It's great. Like, again, I love getting people back on the podcast to talk about just like, then versus now. Because I think like, even for the listener listening right now, like you were saying, anything is possible. And hopefully they got a lot from today that, anything, as long as your mindset's in the right space, like you can make anything possible.
Really can.
Thank you for coming on, Aussie.
Thank you for having me, Jordan. Appreciate it.
This episode is brought to you by the Kova House, the running apparel brand built for runners who care about culture, community, and staying true to running. Kova House is more than gear, it's a movement. And we're kicking off our very first community group run on January 7th. If you want to be part of this running crew that values connection, culture, and showing up, RSVP now and join the Kova House community here in Adelaide. Stay true, stay moving with the Kova House.